Next concept, it's on callback functions. Callback functions in JavaScript. Another very important concept. What is a callback function? The definition is you pass a function to another function as an argument. We have already used callback functions without knowing that is a callback function. Say when we are working with filtering an array, we call this function filter function, right? We passed a function as an argument in another function. So filter function, what is filter function? It's a separate function actually. We coded this filter function like this, and then we got in the value as this key, value as the parameter, right? So what is that we were doing here? We are passing a function as an argument to another function. Filter itself is a method. We are passing filter function as an argument to this function. So here we can call filter function as the callback function. So this kind of a function is called as a callback function. So what is a callback function? It is a function that is passed as an argument to another function, and these functions are executed in response to an event, or an action. And these functions are mostly asynchronous functions. So these are some properties of callback functions. We'll come to asynchronous mode of execution in a few minutes. But first let us understand, we know what is a callback, right? Can we write our own callback functions? Say I'll have this function, test function, I'll say, this will take a function as an argument. I'll just call that to be callback, x comma y, some other parameters. It'll console log x plus y. And it will also call this callback function. And then maybe we'll just sum, let's say, let sum is equal to x plus y. Let's find the sum of x plus y, and then we'll give it to this callback. So callback will display the sum. So this is a function that is getting passed to this function. Let's code this callback function. Let's say function display, and what it gets this sum. We can call this sum or s, whatever it is, and we'll console log sum. That's it. Understood? It just gets the sum and displays the sum. This function uses display as the callback. So I can call test function pass display. See, I'm passing a function as an argument, maybe 3 comma 2, two other parameters. So what will happen? 3 comma 2 will be added, sum will be moved to display, and display will be invoked. It will display the sum. Let's execute this. 5. So this is a simple callback function. So you can always pass functions as arguments here. Now we'll take a look at difference between synchronous and asynchronous function. What is synchronous and asynchronous? For this, I'm just going to show you, take 3 functions. Say I'll call function first function here. And what we'll do here is we'll console log, this is the first function. Likewise, we'll have function second function. And what is that we'll do here? Console log, this is the second function. Got this? Now, these are very normal functions. We know this. What we'll do here is we'll invoke first function, then we'll invoke second function. Are you clear with this code? 2 simple functions. I'm calling first function, then I'm calling second function. What will be the output here? This is the first function and this is the second function. It will execute in the order we have called. So the output here is going to be first function, second function. There is one issue here. See, if first function is a blocking function, what do you mean by a blocking function here? Say it can perform some IO related operations. It can write to the disk. It can read from the disk. It can perform some IO related operations. Maybe it can perform some operations that is waiting on something else. If first function is waiting on something else, if first function is waiting on some operations, second function also should wait, right? Then second function also should wait. So this is the drawback of synchronous mode of execution. If one of the function is waiting on certain tasks, then this will also delay the execution of the second function. You call this first function to be a blocking function. Asynchronous mode is if first function is waiting on something, let it wait. I will execute the second function, which is not waiting for any other inputs. Once when first function is done with its task, then first function will complete. That is asynchronous mode. There is no order with respect to the execution. So let us try asynchronous execution here. For this, we'll use some inbuilt methods of JavaScript. I'm going to use this set timeout function in JavaScript, and I'll be using a callback function here called display. And this method will execute after 4000 milliseconds. That is, the concept here is this function display will execute after a wait of 4 seconds. That's how this function is designed. And what is this function display? Let's have this function displayed. Let's say console log. This is the display function. So display function should execute after 4 seconds. That is the property of set timeout. And display is a callback function. I'll have another function too called my function my function. And what is that we'll have here is we'll console log this. This is my function. And I'll be calling my function after set timeout. There is no wait for my function, right? It's not waiting on anything. It's just displaying. But set timeout should wait for 4 seconds. Now what will be the output? You can see the output here. Let me execute this. Control S, Shift Alt N. This is my function is getting displayed, executed first. After 4 seconds, set timeout executes. So this is asynchronous mode. That is, since it is waiting for 4 seconds, it's not going to block the other functions. The other functions can execute. So since my function is not waiting on any other parameters, it executes. Once when 4 seconds elapses, this callback function is called. That's what I was telling you. Callback functions are mostly used for asynchronous executions like this. And what is the callback function? A function that is passed as an argument to another function. So here you can very well reduce this callback function. Instead of writing this as a separate function, you can very well reduce that as an anonymous function here, like this function, and the console log. This is the message. So this entire callback function can be reduced like this. So I'm just writing the function here. I'm using an anonymous function, a function without a name. Let me execute this now. So again, you're going to get the output. This is my function. After 4 seconds, you can see this is the message. So you can use anonymous function as a callback function directly. This is possible. You can also use an arrow function here. You can convert that callback function to an arrow function. How you can convert this callback function to an arrow function? See, it's very simple. You just use that. We have seen the syntax, right? for an arrow function, the arrow operator, and then what is that? We log, this is the display. So that's the arrow function. So a callback function can also be an arrow function. So now when you run this, miss some semicolon or something, says expected. Let me again type this one up. Some error is happening here. 4000. Okay. Now it's working. This is my function and message. Got it?